Hello guys. Oh my god, where's my mind, where is it, today I'm like thinking like the most glorifying thing I've ever experienced in my life is knowing that I've lost my mind, or that I'm losing my mind. I was just speaking to a friend about losing my mind. And I had to search up quotes as I do to find out, I've lost my mind. When you do, when you finally lose your mind, it feels like what happened? Where's it going? What's it doing? What do you do? What do you just, I don't know. Then it's like that fat laughing Buddha. I always like to look at him and notice him and feel that, feeling that I relate to that laughing Buddha, because it's just so simple to recognize, but then very, very complex at the same time. So that's what the mind says, and that's what the mind does, and that's what, and you're gonna feel like it's just totally you're gonna feel weird. You're gonna feel weird, and you're gonna be able to own that weirdness that you've been running away from your whole life, kind of thing. And it's like everything can be redefined in a flash, and then you're like, oh my god, I'm so scared to go back into being I'm so scared because I'm losing my mind, and it's really frightening, and I've always relied on my mind. I've always thought it was telling me what to do, and it's it's telling me to go here, go there, and it's created an amazing thing for me, and I relate to the thoughts that have given me such comfort and scariness and craziness, and at the same time polarized, negative, positive, all these kind of things that arise and fall in your mind. And when you're asleep to the fact, when you're asleep to recognizing your source behind the thoughts, you know what I mean? When you're asleep to that, that's why they call it the awakening. The awakening. There's thousands and thousands of people that have awakened. And then you're like, awakened to what? When you first start this journey, you might remember, when I first heard the word awakening, this is killing my head. I'm gonna go outside. When I first heard the word awakening, I was simply like, what the fuck are they talking about? What is that talking about? I don't know, I guess, how old was I? I must have been 30, something like that, and I'm 52, by the way. Look at this ring my friend gave me yesterday. A good friend of mine, she gives me these wings. Let's go back to talking about losing our mind. Losing our mind, our awakening. Awakening to what? It's awakening to what? Because when you're so in your head, and you're living from the thoughts that arise and fall and give you these choices, and you're following all of those thoughts. Which one do you follow? Do you you know what I mean? It's in your mind, all this activity. Where do they come from? Where does all this stuff come from? That's what's so ludicrous in the end, when you finally awaken. That's why they call it awakening. Enlightening, awakening, enlightening, it is lightning. And then there's something far beyond that, because it's when you first hear about it, it's really kind of confronting, because you realize, oh my god, what am I doing? Is it raining right now? Sprinkling here right now. But you know what I mean? When you awaken, you will awaken to this another level of so-called reality. It's not even a reality, it's a kind of a knowing. There's something behind all of it, behind the veil. I love the lifting of the veil. My camera's getting wet, so I'm gonna go back inside. Don't want to destroy my camera. That's what it says. Oh my god, I love my weirdness. So you can love your weirdness too. But you know what I mean? When it comes down to, oh my god, and then there was light. Oh my god, I am so in love with myself, my weirdness. But let me set this down again. but is it dark or something? Is it dark? Maybe I can set this right here behind, because this is, ooh. Nothing matters. I don't know, my mind just gave me the option. Should I put on music? I'm not gonna put on music. And I'm jumping around and I'm scattered and I'm feeling good and I'm filling my oats and I'm going through the thing. But when you awaken and it's enlightening, when it's enlightening, it is so blissful, because that's why they mean enlightening. Light is pure potential and it's all right there. And you're gonna feel, that's why it's so scary, you know, because that's why they say you're asleep. People are walking around asleep. They're just living from egoistic thoughts, and materialism is everything, and looking your best is everything. Like, you know, looking your best and trying to be the best, and you know, like, so they can say, okay, you're great, you're amazing, and you know, like, you're just this. This is a form, there's nothing wrong with that if that's your choice. That's your choice. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That's your choice. I rode that boat for a long time and then I was like, oh my God, there's really no destination here. And so they promised me, or something, or where, you know, like as I awaken, I realize, who is they? You know what I mean? Who is they? Who is they pointing at you? Who is they watching you? You know, big brother, big brother, big brother. You do feel like that. And that's why, you know, until you become enlightening, or you become, what was the word I just said? Awaken. Awaken. When you awaken to the fact that you're not your ego construct, or your whatever that you've created, your character, your person, the other stuff that I'm talking about. I always feel like I say many things over and over, but I do, and it's okay, and I'm good with all that, you know. I'm feeling my oats right now. I'm feeling hyper. I'm feeling so grateful to be here with you. This is the product, this is the actual feeling of being awakened, and not having to, feel like you, like whatever. It's just like whatever. So when the veil is lifted, you know, the veil is lifting. While the veil is lifting from your eyes, or you actually get there's a crack in your reality, that gap that I talked about a couple weeks ago, or I just uploaded it now on my Facebook page. It is so scary. It is really, really scary, because then you're like, oh my God, I can't actually rely on my thoughts anymore, because you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like, you know, and what am I supposed to do? Like, what am I supposed to do? Who am I without my character that I've developed and everybody liked, and all this kind of thing, and you know, you get really scared, because you think that the world's going to, you know, fall apart, or you're gonna fall apart, and everyone's going to think that you've lost your mind, and you've got to get through that. You got to get through that. I say you got to get through it. Like, you don't have to do anything. Like, in fact, you don't really have to do fucking anything. And like, listen to me, because I'm not here to give you anything. And do I know anything? No, I don't know anything that is for you at all. Like, I know what is for me, but I can tell you right now, I don't know anything, because the thought can't create whatever I'm experiencing that is ever present, and that is always here, which is that source that I've said a million times. But what I can guarantee, see, I can't really guarantee anything, because I don't really know for you, but maybe it'll strike a chord, maybe it'll resonate or something like that. But that you'll recognize that at least one person went through it, and if you're watching my videos and like you're living from the ego thing, and you're hating what I'm saying right now, that's definitely the people who don't like to awaken to the fact that, you know, all of this is constructly created, and your personality and your ego and all that stuff is created, and all that stuff, and everyone and people are living behind that most of the time, because they feel more comfortable that way, because they've created that kind of construct. And their fear is to be had. You know, losing friends is to be had. Losing people that do not agree with you, which could be your friends or your family or something like that. People are going to think, you know, like, losing your mind has a horrible reputation, and it's like, it's the worst thing in the world that can be done, and you can't, like, do it. You cannot do that. lose your mind. You know, you gotta hold it together. You've gotta be productive. You gotta be all this, and all adjectives arise. There are thousands and thousands of adjectives that will arise. And when you're awakening to that, the things that are arising are also accompanying with some kind of polarized thought as well. You know what I mean? So that's going to judge you from this. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. So that's what happens when you awaken, when you're awakening. That's what I experience for myself. And everything collapses. Like, everything collapses, and you have to take responsibility for the present. You know, taking responsibility for the present, to being here. And also what I realized too is that I can share is that it's kind of, presence is kind of really dull in a way. You know, because if you're not relating to form, which is materialistic things and people and opinions and you know, all of the form outside of you, you know, that you're projecting onto and you're co-creating with, you're working with, and you're seeing that. I lost my thought. Because when you're present, it's dull. It can be feeling of dullness because you're not relating to it, and it's like not entertaining, maybe. You know, I've definitely gone through that where I feel like, oh, I can't really interact. Nothing makes sense to me anymore because, yeah, just at this level of reality or this awakening is causing me to feel like I don't really want to relate to form, or it's not interesting for me to really talk about opinions and preferences, I think, in that way, you know. And also, like, you know, when I say a lot, like, you know, I have a mouth and I say, I don't give a fuck, I don't care what you think. I think I was talking to my partner, so just to clarify that, although I don't have a need to really clarify it in a sense, because it's not that I don't care about people. God, I more and more have compassion for people, and forgiveness is had with all the people in my life who have caused trauma or who have been victims themselves, which I believe that's how forgiveness is easier. Forgiveness is for myself, that you feel like my train of thought is gone, but I guess that's what happens too. You know, sometimes you lose your train of thought, but I guess it'll come back around. I think that just by awakening to yourself, you feel like maybe when you start losing the you know, that you don't give a fuck. That's what I was gonna say, and that you don't care. Like, I don't care what people's opinions about how I live my life today. That's about what I'm talking about. But do I care about people and I love people? Absolutely, 100% more than anything, because they are me and I am you, and all that's one thing. You know, that's really cool to recognize for sure. And it's just part of the awakening. So it's really vulnerable, and you can feel very overwhelmed, and it's scary, and you want to go back into the comfort zone that was torturing you, where you were a victim before, because that's familiar. So the whole thing is familiar, and that trap is very familiar, and it's consistent. That's why we kind of stay in it. That's why a lot of people are really asleep to their ego, asleep to their real full potential, actually, what is behind the constructs that they've created, and their egos, and their materialistic world, and their money, and their wealth, and their feeling of superiority, and all that stuff that separates us as people, or human beings, which is like an absolute like kind of bullshit, because I just don't believe it. So that's what I've become to realize, and that can be really scary for a lot of people, because they realize that maybe they're not even a person. And this is also scary for people too, because oh my God, I've been like really working on myself and to improve and to become better and all that stuff, and at my job and at what I do and how they see me, and I've got the, you know, the CEO position, and I'm the director, and I'm in a position of power, and then that's abuse. Like, people who are asleep to the fact that they like exist on a different level. They can't exist on a different level. It's about power. It's all about power struggle, and it's like putting some people down. When you direct, or when you are CEO, or you're like, you know, manager or something like that, and you're delegating. And how do you delegate? Is, you know, there's when your ego is satisfied in that sense, and you feel really superior. That's really interesting to recognize and know, and you know, because I did that. in a way, but to myself, and then I woke up, or I'm waking up. No, I've woken. I think I'm woken. And does that mean that things are stopped existing? Not at all. It's not really happening that way. Nothing is like, it's all, it's really incredible feeling because, but I can only, you know, I can only equate it to losing my mind because that's what I feel like I've done. Because I'm not relating to any constructs or any kind of thoughts or anything like that. And I don't care. This is great. I don't give a fuck, or I don't care about how people see me. That's one of the most amazing things I've ever experienced in my life, because it's just really nurturing and loving for me, you know what I mean? And, you know, everybody needs a little bit of, like a whole lot of self-love, like, you know, and to be selfish that way can redefine the term selfishness. Being selfish, you know, like in that, and having that love and for yourself, and then waking up, awakening, you know, awakening up to like what you've been doing, and that's really scary, and can be scary for a lot of people, and it was scary for me, and can, you know, sometimes my mind can still arise with that because it's conditioned, and it's really an opportunity for me to just really just figure out, or just to allow, just to be like, what am I? Who am I? What am I doing? Where am I going? And letting go of, just letting go every single day and every single moment, and it's all beautiful. It's just really beautiful. And there are many facets of your life, and then from that position, it's like as you're ever present. If you engage with with form, you know, with form in your reality, with form, with money or clothes or materialistic things, or a like house, or like you're driven to make more money and to have more money, and you know, even then you don't really need any more money, and but your ego wants to have more money because you want to be better. Maybe perhaps when you're asleep it's all subconscious, but for me that's like, I don't know, it's kind of a dead end in a way, you know. So waking up is synonymous or equating losing your mind. And it's like then something opens and a lot of other kind of things come in to experiences, which are only experiences because fundamentally it's just all encompassing and all love. But like when the veil is lifting or lifted, that knowing is kind of had, and it has no labels, or it has no kind of, it has nothing other than the presence. And the presence is just me moving my arm, me being here, me being there, me being observing the flower, observing the street, observing the people, observing the eyes, and without any labeling, and just being present. And that can be very dull. It can be very dull and unexciting, especially when you've related to it for so long. And it fills you up temporarily, and it can be fun and all that. But when when you relate to form and you have a different perspective about it, of course it's here, and it's not to be gotten rid of necessarily. I change the way I think about it, and that's really an opportunity to just be present and engage with it without having kind of an agenda, you know, and enjoying your time here on this planet Earth, which is a miracle in itself. I was looking at the moon last night and how it's like the moonlight and the light from the moon, and wow, yeah, and I was very present at that moment when I was looking at it. I was so present, and there was no words, and there was just silence as I looking at this miraculous object, whatever that is, you know, whatever it is in the sky, you know. I know what it's been told it is, yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't know not one thing. I don't know. And that's scary for a lot of people. And scary, like scary for the mind, scary for the ego. But when you lose your mind, you're not so scared anymore. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but that's what I want to say today. And I'm going to let you go and have a beautiful day, and I will be seeing you when I see you next. Have a great one. Bye, everyone. Love you so much. Bye.